Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of It's Rupee Cast. We're going to have tonight our first couple replays of user-submitted replays here so far. Thanks for the support, guys, right off the bat. I appreciate it. This one's going to be from Bigamo. I'll have another one later on from Accra coming up. Quick little anecdote, if you will, about Bigamo. When I first started playing this game, I had just come off the Warcraft 3 binge that I was on. And coming from a Blizzard to a Relic-style RTS was really quite a stun for me. I'd played some company heroes, but never really competitively. So when I started playing solo in this game, I think I lost about 12 games before I ever won one. And one of the first players I fought was good old Bigamo here, and he's always been a solid player ever since the first time I met him. He wiped the floor with me. I was quite the noob. But he was nice enough to sit with me in the lobby after game for probably 10 or 15 minutes explaining all the mechanics, melee and ranged counters, suppression, when to retreat, how to reserve, your power and try to hold on to that. And really just made me feel a lot more welcome in the game and in the online community. So big props to Bigamo. Thanks a lot, man. I don't even know if you remember that or not. But that's how it happened. So let's go ahead and get this game started. Enough of my rambling. We've got, as I mentioned, a Tech Marine mirror here with Bigamo and Jreamer. So we're going to have a lot of shooty going on between these two Space Marine armies. We're on Ashes of Typhon, of course, a pretty cool map. You can see, of course, to the east side, we've got the lone victory point and the two far out secondary powers. The natural power is right in front of each player's base. And to the west, we've got the two other VPs and the secondary requisitions out there in the distance. So we can see standard cap and build orders from both players, both grabbing their tax and grabbing their power. And you can see Jreamer moving right into the center and capturing this neutral power right here, trying to get that early and lock that down. Always good to try to get that, and he's going to, of course, pop that node right away so scouts can't come along. Going to make sure that Bigamo has to at least send some tax there with flamers to take down that node relatively quickly. Otherwise, he's just going to have to let it sit and go for his map control. Of course, you don't see flamers terribly often in a Space Marine mirror unless one or the other can get in on the opponent's power. Generally, both players will opt to hold out until they can get themselves some plasma in Tier 2. So it'll be interesting to see if this mirror match so far continues along the same vein. You can see, since Bigamo didn't grab the center power there, he's a little quicker to capture his full side of the map. And now pulling his Tech Marine, it looks like, over to support his Tactical Marines. I always feel like it's good to keep your tech and your tax together in the beginning fights here. So Bigamo's waiting to get that opportunity. And you can just see a little bit of pepper going back and forth between the two, tax and Jreamer's Tech Marine. Bigamo has instantly dropped all three of his generators, while Jreamer not being able to fill up his first farm, instead choosing to pop all three of his nodes. Which is good if he can hold it, but as Space Marine, I prefer to just have the primary power farm. You're not as mobile or agile as a lot of other armies, so it's just easier, I feel, to really just hold the one power farm as opposed to trying to keep all of them up. You can see, looks like Jreamer got himself a Scout Sergeant immediately as his first upgrade, and meanwhile, Bigamo has gotten himself the Mastercrafted Bolter, which ups his basic range damage, and of course gives him the high-powered shot ability, which will knock a nice chunk of damage off and suppress a nearby squad. A nice grenade taking out one of Jreamer's scouts, and here comes the counter grenade, but not even close on that, unfortunately. It's funny seeing two scout squads with sergeants meleeing each other. You know they're just both trying to wait for that energy drop and get the grenade there. I'm not sure if his high-powered shot was on cooldown, but generally when you see this combination, you'll see the high-powered shot to suppress the squad and hold it down, and then drop the grenade right on top of it, either forcing a retreat or causing some severe damage. Jreamer's gotten himself a Devastator, gonna go for some map control against against Bigamo here, but Bigamo deciding himself that his suppression is going to come in the form of a Tech Marine turret. Jreamer, of course, instantly sees this and is going to try to flank. It's going to be close if those tactical Marines can get around it. They did just barely as it went up, and probably going to be upgrading the flamers here and trying to get that turret down while he has the chance. Unfortunately, it looks like that rock is blocking the line of sight. No, it should be able to see those Devastators. I don't know. Oh, they walked around it. Unfortunately, they were safe where they were, but they tempted fate and lost the model. Had to get pushed back. The flamers upgraded just in time. Looks like Bigamo is going to try to come in here and force melee, but a bit too late on that. He does have his tactical marine, so he should be alright to move in here. And again, we have these scout squads dueling here. Grenade, I don't know if Jreamer sees this. He does move out, but he lost, didn't lose any scouts, but took the squad down to about half HP.
The enemy is capturing one of our victory points.
Meanwhile, Bigamo did take attack loss here, while Jreamer managed to save all of his with the support of his Tech Marine. A bit surprising to see Bigamo getting the Mastercrafted Bolter here. You normally see Tech Marines hold out until Tier 2 and grabbing the favorite Plasma Rifle.
What word?
Well, which of course does a lot of damage to both Tactical Marines and Assault Marines. Its damage has been toned down a bit, so maybe that's why Bigamo's decided to go ahead and use the Mastercrafted Bolter here. You can see definitely doing some nice damage to the opposing Tech Marine. So far, the map control's been pretty even. Bigamo's a bit 100 points ahead here on the victory points so far. Instantly retreating from that Tech Marine, doesn't want to take on any unnecessary losses there, sorry. On this Devastator squad, which got set up just a bit too late to deal with him. He probably could have set that back up over on this power. Another grenade, it sounds like I missed it. Looks like that one was in Bigamo's favor. Jreamer didn't get the good end of that grenade. Meanwhile, the Tactical's harassing this Tech Marine. Chasing him back. He's going to try to fall back. Oh, but again, you're seeing the utility of the Mastercrafted Bolter here, being able to suppress and escape from those Tactical Marines. Meanwhile, he can now turn around and fire. Choosing not to go ahead and get in that cover since they are suppressed. And both players now moving right on into Tier 2.
Guides us to victory.
Bigamo's managing to keep the map control in his favor and ticking down Jreamer to about 350 points here soon, I'm sure. Devastator has gotten back into position a little further back this time. Better positioning, not risking that Tech Marine getting in. And looks like Bigamo's going to get himself some Artificer armor now that he finds himself low in HP on the field. Going to go ahead and get that, increase his regen, and try to keep that Tech Marine on the field. Immediately putting the Artificer's Mines to use here by putting a little booby trap there on the victory point, looking pretty good there. Getting himself a a Tactical Marine Sergeant as well.
The enemy is claiming a victory point.
And again, the Scout Squad's just dueling back and forth for these victory points down at the bottom. Here comes a grenade. He does see it and maneuver out of the way. Going for some melee now. And the Tech Marine is moving in to support the Scouts. So there goes another grenade. Oh, that grenade unfortunately killed 3 of his own Scouts and none of Bigamo's. Jreamer is not coming out on top of the grenade battles here. That was unfortunately placed. Luckily, the Sergeant did manage to get out of there. Bigamo now having a fully upgraded Tactical Marine squad with both the Sergeant and the Plasma Pistols. This Devastator, unfortunately, just a little bit too far back to protect that victory point. He needs to move that up, maybe around these rocks or over here, to be able to cover that. Realizing that, he has maneuvered on up and dropped the overcharge on his Plasma Rifle, being able to pick off one of those Tactical Marines very quickly. You can see, despite having its damage lowered recently, it still does very significant damage.
The enemy falters, but he is not yet beaten.
Again, that Devastator was just a bit too far back. Both players now building themselves some Dreadnoughts to bring onto the field. Dreadnought's one of my favorite units. I love big stompy robots. I know one hit the field around here. Oh, there it was. I'm sorry. It was the wrong player that had his out first. His bright red and blue Dreadnought now waddling up to the field here.
What word?
Tech Marine moving a bit too far forward on those Devastators, using the Mastercrafted Bolter's shot to get out of there for a few seconds and move out of range of the suppression. You can see, looks like Jreamer was tired of the grenade battles, realizing he was losing those. He's going to go ahead and send the heavy armor down to deal with these scouts. Waiting for the grenade, he waits for the energy drop and moves in for the melee after that. Nice play, but unfortunately, it looks like Bigamo's moving down here and responding with some armor of his own. I'm not sure if Reamer sees this or not. There he goes. He did lose a couple tactical models a bit late on the retreat. Didn't really gain himself anything there. And now Jreamer setting up a turret of his own to cover his Devastator squad, as that is going to need to upgrade to a las cannon to hopefully give him the advantage in the upcoming robot battle here. And Jreamer has managed to push the map finally back into his favor and starts ticking away at Bigamo's points. Jreamer, meanwhile, has gotten himself a Signum armor as well. Obviously works great in conjunction with the Plasma Rifle's Overcharge. Really gives your Tech Marine some absurd burst DPS. If you can catch a squad off guard with that, you can generally get it unless your opponent reacts very quickly.
The tide of battle turns toward the
Bigamo now choosing to get himself a second Dreadnought. Figures with the las cannon and one Dreadnought, he can even it out with a second of his own. Jreamer also opting to get the Orb of the Omnissiah war gear, which will help him with the robots. Unfortunately, Bigamo needs to get this out of here. The marked target is not going to survive. There it goes. One robot out of the fight, but oh no, here comes a second. Jreamer realizes, oh, that grenade, oh yes, was a bit too, needed to move that a little further south and support the other Dreadnought. He could be moving this las cannon up right now. I'm not sure why he's not doing that. With the other Dreadnought and his scouts in range, they would certainly be able to support that. Looks like he's falling back to that now and going to leave that set up. Meanwhile, you can see Bigamo's just gone ahead and used his tactical marines to capture the whole west side of the map there. He needs to get these scouts back. They are going to get a grenade off on that las cannon. Oh, it does survive. A solid hit, but not quite enough to take down that las cannon. But he does need to get it up and take a couple shots at this Dreadnought to save his own. The turret being able to suppress the Tech Marine, but not going to be able to stop that Dreadnought. One shot on the web. It looks like it's just barely getting out of there. The tactical marines down here just ships passing in the night, walking right past each other while the players focus. Oh no, a scout got knocked backwards by a special attack and was taken down by these tactical marines of Bigamo, which were all the way down, capturing his own natural wreck points here in the meantime. There's the marked target, and they instantly fall back, knowing that they weren't going to be able to deal with much of that. Two turrets, both going down and both getting destroyed relatively quickly here. Both players have, looks like 2 full power farms. I guess that's why these Dreadnoughts are again being purchased, and this is pretty amusing. Just turning into a battle of Rock'em Sock'em robots here in Dawn of War 2 today.